All right, so this week we got Chris Rini coming to us from the Carolinas. He had a big win at WOOOSTOCK. Some of you guys might have recognized the name from nhra Top Sportsman as the Northern Assassin, and he, successful in NMCA, PDRA. And Chris, thanks for coming on the show this week.
Well, thank you for having me.
So you come out of the gate, going into every season, you put a bunch of test laps on the car, but you came out of the gate in WOOOSTOCK after this COVID-19 break, and you just, ran right to the top of the pro mod class over at WOOOSTOCK. Tell us how that went for you.
It went pretty good. I mean, we haven't done a lot of testing. Obviously, everybody's been parked for 2 months now. We did go out in the beginning of the season for the first Carolina Extreme race there at Darlington, same weekend as the Orlando deal for the pro mods. And we did real well there. The conditions were a total opposite. I mean, it was 55 degrees, at best 60 during the middle of the day. So, we had a completely different setup, and we had a completely different racetrack. Here we are, fast forward, we roll out as quote unquote the season opener, but it's really the second season opener. And it was 88 degrees, track temperature got to 138, and it was a new condition, a summer condition.
It was interesting, man. I mean, and we'll talk about the success that you had as we continue through this, but what was it like going to a race where you knew there weren't going to be any fans there and just eliminating that aspect? I don't know about you, but it kind of felt like we were doing something we weren't supposed to be doing, right? Like it felt like we were, I don't know, having a fight club in the basement of a warehouse or something.
Well, the ironic part is I was going there with the intentions of having fans on the spectator side, and that all changed, I guess, Thursday. And
yeah.
Kind of deflating, I mean, it's enjoyable to see people get into it, and I'm sure a lot of the fans are chomping at the bit, so to speak, to get out there and watch the cars make laps and see the tight runs. And it was for me, when I get in the car, the last thing I look at is the grandstands, so I mean, but as far as the whole event, it was kind of like a test session with a race. It was very unusual to drive into South Carolina and see like the Waffle House open and people sitting down inside. It was almost like, I feel like the United States has been it's like the Day After movie, where you drive down the road and restaurants are closed up and there's signs on the doors, and you go into a Subway, even though they're still open, they got all the seats saran wrapped, and you show up in South Carolina and it was relatively normal, which felt abnormal.
Yeah. I was actually surprised the level of openness that was going on in South Carolina personally. I've seen it a multitude of different ways. Just recently moved from Missouri, which was pretty well everything is closed. Go to Texas, where pretty much everything is open, and then go to South Carolina, where it felt like there was a mix of the two things. It was an interesting thing for sure, man, for sure.
Having all this off time and getting to go back racing and actually having a very successful race when you went back, has it made you appreciate even more being able to race? Do you have a new outlook on, having a track that you can go to and actually go racing again?
Yeah. I mean, it was, we rolled in there to test on Thursday to kind of blow the dust off of me, the car, the crew, and it was very interesting because first order of business when all this came to play and Keith had put out that, okay, WOOOSTOCK is happening and it's going to be limited crew and we'll let everybody know when we know. And this whole let everybody know thing was kind of like all the unknown. So initially my phone's blowing up with, the guys that help but aren't critical guys going, if you really don't need me, I won't go because I know that you need him. And it was kind of a weird deal. I mean, and the weirdest part about it, it's kind of like, when you were young and your parents told you couldn't do something, now everybody wants to do it more. It was like all of a sudden, I always as many crew guys as possible, and then you're like, oh, we're missing this guy, and he cooks the food. And now it was like we had more volunteers because everybody was so eager to go, and it was like it felt like it was going to be some kind of big thing as far as not so much the big thing as far as the race, but just a big thing to go out there and do it like that once a year vacation we once took,
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I gotta, and I'll interject this. I blow up all these interviews, so I apologize. We have a script every time. We have a list of what we're gonna do, but I can't help myself. So, but you just touched on something that not like the race was that big of a deal. But I've got to say that I have written about this extensively over the course of the last couple of days. That I feel the Pro Mod show, the Carolina Extreme Pro Mod Series, stole the show in Darlington. It was without question the best competition, the highlight of the whole weekend. And I just have to know, I mean, that had to feel different. You won the Carolina Extreme Pro Mod season opener, but how different is it to win a Carolina Extreme Pro Mod race when you look down that list and you see names like Ricky Smith, Charles Carpenter, Jim Halsey, Jay Cox, Randy Weatherford? I mean, these are John Strickland, the Galat cars are there. I mean, that was a collection of, I would argue, the most one of the most diverse pro mod shows I've seen in many, many years, and some of the highest level competition. And to be the last man standing, Chris, like, it may be an East Coast quick 8, but that was you couldn't have picked a tougher deal to go contend with and to win it. I mean, you got to be feeling like $1 million.
Oh yeah, and to win it, I looked at the same thing. I knew going in it was going to be a lot of cars that we wouldn't normally see because everybody wanted to race, and I knew that a lot of cars also wanted to kind of get back out there and go through the motions so they get their teams ready for whatever series they're running. I mean, we had guys from NMCA, NHRA, PDRA Pro Boost, PDRA Pro Nitrous. I mean, it was a cool deal, and like you said, at the end of the day, there was no slouches. It wasn't just a local race. It ended up to be, guys traveled from all over because they were tired of sitting home. And, I knew it was going to be fast going in. I said, oh, this is not going to be, we're going to have to run it as hard as we do at Pro Nitrous PDRA, if not harder, because we got all these other power adders. And I said, okay, we just got to qualify solid, and you always have this plan, kind of like when you get
Right.
the plan on what you're going to do for this interview, and here we are derailed. It's like
Right.
we have this plan of going in, we're going to do the best we can to qualify. When you qualify at the front, because the field's going to be hard enough, and all teams probably going with that same outlook. And then it was, okay, we missed it on the best session, and I'm like, oh my goodness. First round of eliminations, we had missed it the round before. I mean, we knew we'd put it together and make a good run in E1, but we had nothing to base the day off of. And I was just like, okay, here we are. We slid back 6 spots in one qualifying session. And I didn't, I didn't want to race the first race to be the tight race, and every race ended up to be tight. There was no round I went into thinking that I just need to go A to B and go green and pull the parachutes, and we got this. It was like we need to do performance the best we can. I need to drive the best I can. We need to make no mistakes, and hopefully we'll end up with the light on the wall,
So you knocked the dust off, for that race. PDRA in 2 weeks. Now that tracks are starting to loosen up, are you going to get out testing before that event, or you feel like you got a good base after this weekend?
I feel that we got a good car. We got a good base. That's another really good racetrack. So we'll roll in there. We'll test on Thursday, and we'll race. These cars are getting more and more costly to make laps up and down the racetrack. The consumables have gone up tremendously. And, I don't think we're that far away from being where we need to be. So, and I'm not sounding like I'm confident or cocky or nothing like that. I'm just saying that I don't want to wear out parts for the sake of wearing out parts. I'm going to go there. We'll make a couple test hits on Thursday. And then we'll be ready to race. And we go in there with a lot of momentum. My guys are pumped. Everybody's stoked. I mean, hopefully North Carolina is as lenient as possible on us, and I say that in a kind of an unknown space where you got whatever the amount of cars are going to be, and then 3 to 4 guys per crew or whatever they allow. And there's a lot of people, and people associate with other people. So depending on how they corral us, so to speak, is depending on, how that event goes, and South Carolina has been a little bit looser because they were open first. They started opening their phase 1 stuff, and, North Carolina's still not there. So it'll be interesting to see. It's still another week and a half away, so things could change.